In 15th century Europe, there lived a person named Dracula. He practiced sorcery in order to create a bad world filled with evil. He began taking over the continent of Europe, changing countries from good to bad. The good people of Europe tried to fight off Dracula, but no one was able to survive. Finally, the Belmont family was summoned to battle Dracula's vile forces. The Belmont family has a long history of fighting evil. The townspeople became afraid of the Belmont's superhuman power and asked them to leave the country. Fortunately, the people found a mighty Belmont called Trevor. The curse of Dracula has begun. The fate of Europe lies with Trevor.
Hello everyone, SchmittWylde here and welcome to another playthrough here on the channel. This time we're gonna be playing Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse on the NES. I'm actually playing the game on my PlayStation 5 through the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. This is just gonna be an introduction video for the playthrough. If you wish to go straight into gameplay, there's gonna be a link of the playlist of this playthrough in the description of this video, or you can click in the box that should appear on the top right corner of your screen. Before I do some reading for you guys, let me tell you that I was actually a little bit scared to start playing this game. Don't get me wrong, I love the Castlevania series. They are very fun to play, and it is one of my favorite series of all time, to be honest. But this game does have the fame of being one of the hardest NES games. It is the hardest Castlevania game on the NES, and that kind of put me off a little bit. I was a little bit apprehensive, you know? But given that I've already covered both Castlevania 1 and 2 on the channel, I thought it was about time for me to tackle the almighty Castlevania 3. And I know I'm not the greatest player out there, but I think I can manage Castlevania 3. This playthrough will have 4 videos. Each will cover the gameplay of each character combination in the game. Why do I say that? In Castlevania 3, you have the ability to recruit a few companions for you to go to your journey. Throughout the game, you will encounter 3 characters that you can ask them to join your party. You can only have one of them in your party at a time, and they are as follow: Grant, Sypha, and Alucard. You can also play solo if you like, have only Trevor in your party. It's gonna add a little bit of a challenge because you won't have the other character's ability to give you an edge on the challenges ahead. But it's certainly a possibility that I will definitely tackle, because like I said, it's gonna be 4 videos, 4 different endings and 4 different gameplays, I guess. But do remember that this is not a walkthrough. I will be playing the game from beginning to the end, yes, but by this sentence I mean that I will not be showing the optimal path, the optimal strategy to beat the game. I'm gonna be playing as a casual gamer, playing the game for the first time, experiencing the game for the first time. It's gonna be pretty much a blind playthrough for me. I do know a little bit about the game. I've played the first few levels a few times, and I've watched a few live streams and videos on YouTube to kinda know what I'm getting into. But by no means I know what's gonna come ahead of me, you know, what's gonna happen in the later levels. It's gonna be an interesting experience for me, and I hope I can translate that to you over the following playthroughs. Like I said, since I'm playing this game on the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, on this collection there's a digital book available for us to read, and let me show you what's there on the Castlevania 3 section of the digital book. So here we have it, the Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse part of the digital book available. This notoriously difficult installment has been praised as a masterpiece of the Castlevania series. The game had a VRC6 chip built into its cartridge, which was developed by Konami. This proprietary chip wowed gamers with music and graphics which were simply amazing for the time. Although it was only included in the Japanese version of the game, the rest of the world didn't have this feature. The core gameplay mechanics were based on the original Castlevania, but it's also filled with the brim with innovative additions such as branching storyline. Yes, there's multiple paths for you to choose between the playthrough, so it has a lot of replayability. In the 15th century, Dracula conquered a remote region of Europe known as Wallachia. After attempting everything in its power to rid the world of the evil vampire, the church had once stood against the Belmont clan, had no choice but to turn to its surviving descendant, Trevor Belmont, for salvation. Acting as their last hope, Trevor faces off against the Dark Lord. And like I said, let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Here are the other characters that you can encounter. Trevor will encounter potential allies during his journey, who are willing to join him in war against evil. The player can choose to control them whenever they want, once they have joined the party, adding a new level of depth to the gameplay. Controlling the right character at the right time is a crucial strategic element of the game. And so we have Sypha. Sypha's frozen crystal spell freezes enemies, 1 heart per use, and while they are frozen, you can climb on top of them and use Sypha's staff to destroy them with a single blow. She also has a fire spell and a lightning spell. Grant, move along walls. You can press the right or left button while touching a wall, and then press the up and down button. So he's pretty much a crawler, like imagine Spider-Man in 8-bit, so that's pretty much Grant. And Alucard, the most famous of all, son of Dracula, he can pretty much change into a bat. He has a regular attack that's kinda a spread magic attack that shoots 3 fireballs in a short range, but his main ability is to turn into a bat. And before I end the video, I want to show you a few pages from the NES game manual, and I would like to share with you guys what I found. It's a little bit of the story and a background of the characters. It's a cursed world we live in, thanks to Drac. The time is 100 years before Simon Belmont's birth. The moon burns red overhead and black clouds loom large on the horizon. All is still and quiet. Only the call of a distant crow stirs the cold night air. Suddenly, thunder roars out of the morbid mountains and into the village of, well, here say Wallachia, but it's Wallachia. Like the yell of an angry giant, the terrible sound shakes homes and shops as if they were slapping branches. But no one blinks an eye. The village is dead calm, for all the people have fled after receiving warning from the great beyond that Count Dracula has assembled a mighty army of evil, and they are poised to march up from the valley of graveyards to bury mankind in a tomb of terror. Unfortunately, there's no corner on earth that won't be gobbled up by this bloodthirsty legion of swamp dragons, slasher skeletons, and forces of the undead. The last line of defense is you, Trevor Belmont, the forefather of Simon Belmont and the origin of the Belmont warlord chromosomes. But your chances are slimmer than Jim. In fact, the only real edge you have over this fang-sharpened freak is your power to transform into 3 different partner spirits: Grant the Nasty, the ferocious ghost pirate, Sypha, the mystic warlord, and Alucard, Dracula's forgotten son. Each of these spirits will confront you as you fight through 17 possible levels of never-ending fright, including the Haunted Ship of Fools, the Clock Tower of Ultimately Death, and Cursed Castle. You must also possess the strength to yield the mighty battle axe and mystic whip, which were given to you by the Poltergeist King. So go forth, young Trevor, into the cold black night, where death lurks around every corner and evil lingers on every stone. And remember, if your courage and cunning are any less than magnificent of it, or if you fail to choose the correct path, you will be banished to the world of the undead, and zombies will rule until the end of time. Trevor Belmont. Trevor is the infamous forefather of Simon Belmont, the mighty warrior who pulverized Dracula in Castlevania, and again in Simon's Quest. Trevor has a number of oldie but goodie attack items that had been given to him by the Poltergeist King. These include the Mystic Whip, Battle Axe, Banshee Boomerang, Dagger, and Sacred Water. Trevor is also the master of special items, including Pocket Watch, Invisibility Potion, and the Rosary. Alucard. As the son of Count Dracula, Alucard once tried to prevent Trevor from accomplishing his mission. However, he reached the point where he could no longer abide by his father's evilness, and is now looking for a partner to help him put an end to his father's wicked plans. A resident of underground tunnels, Alucard attacked with a ball of destruction, which he can also fire in 3 directions. Alucard's primary strength, though, is his ability to turn himself into a bat. However, he cannot attack while he is airborne, and will turn back into a human form if his wings are clipped by an evil enemy. Grant the Nasty. Count Dracula used his sinister power to turn this pirate captain into a ghost. And as one of Dracula's gruesome gang, he will attack you from the top of the Clock Tower of Ultimately Death. Untimely Death, sorry. However, if you can defeat this scoundrel, his spirit will join you. He is small, nimble, and has a strong spring in his step, so he's able to jump onto walls and ceilings and stick to them like glue. Grant's primary attack weapons are an axe and a dagger. Another of his weapons is his skill to scurry along hidden routes not accessible to Trevor. Unfortunately, both his body and his ego bruises easily. Sypha Belnats. Sypha, the mystic warlord of Wallachia, is also a vampire hunter who walks quickly and carries a big stick. Rumors of his death were spread throughout Eastern Europe, but in truth he was captured by Cyclops, the one-eyed ultimate evil. Sypha uses his Wallachia staff to attack. Other attack favorites of his include flame, frozen crystals, and lightning bolts. With these, he can destroy evil enemies before they get close to him. However, his skin is very thin and blisters easily when blasted by grotesque enemy attacks. To score big, Sypha must attack before his enemies fight him. Now, one thing important to note here is that the manual, the description of Cypher in the manual is that he's a male, but in fact it's a female, so there's that.